Hey guys, welcome back to Philip Draws Comics. I'm Philip. That's my hand you see on the screen right now, drawing the picture in front of you. And today we're going to continue my series on drawing the characters from Dragon Ball Daima. I've already drawn the main characters Goku and Vegeta, and today we're going to go with the character Bulma. But if you've been following along in the last couple of videos, you know I have more of a desire to draw these characters in the style of Dragon Ball Z from the mid-90s. That's what I'm most comfortable with. And today we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take Bulma's character design from Daima, her costume basically, and we're going to draw it in a more mid-90s DBZ era style. I'm a big fan of the idea of like juxtaposition when you're drawing something. I like two things that don't go together being put together. Brings out a little something extra. And so I just thought, like what would be a good look for Bulma instead of just standing there like in the character design I showed you a second ago. I was thinking she's going into a strange world, strange space. It was like she a super scientist. She'd kind of want to over-prepare. And I just thought the idea of her being a kid with some too much stuff on her was just kind of a funny idea. And then I remembered a similar image from the Namek portion of the manga. That's a cover page from the manga drawn by Akira Toriyama, showing Bulma with what you call a BFG, a big freaking gun. And I thought it would be even funnier if she was just like a little 6-year-old kid holding the same giant gun. And then to add a little extra seasoning to the picture, I took this picture and decided to give Bulma her Saiyan Scouter from the Saiyan saga so she could read power levels. I just thought it'd be cool if, Bulma's going on an adventure with Goku and Vegeta. She'd probably want to bring weapons and all kinds of tech to help them out with. You also note that I used the hairstyle of that earlier Z-era Bulma instead of the kind of more uniform style from Daima. Even gave her a little cowlick in the middle of her part, same as Kid Trunks had in Dragon Ball Z. I thought it was kind of interesting to give her sort of the choppier, tomboyish hairstyle of her son, since we don't really have any Z-era images of Kid Bulma. I could have gone with the character Bra, that's her daughter at the very end of Dragon Ball Z, but she's more of like a sort of just a normal-looking kid, and I was like, no, Bulma's got to look like a crazy person. She has to be all over-prepared and ready for whatever comes her way. For the most part, though, I really do like this costume design from Dragon Ball Daima. I like that Toriyama gave her the thick, chunky boots that she wore during the Saiyan saga or the Namek saga, and the kind that you would see future Trunks wearing. I've always been a big fan of the way Toriyama designs clothing, not just like karate outfits for the main characters, but actual like civilian clothes the characters wear during down times, and not a whole lot of it in the manga itself, but if you find drawings by Toriyama, things for like covers and what have you, he'll draw his heroes in like jeans and t-shirts and sneakers, and it's always interesting. Just his design sense is really, really distinctive, and it's one that I've always enjoyed looking at. So now I got the shading going on. As I mentioned before in previous videos, I've learned how to shade from drawing Dragon Ball pictures in high school, and definitely think that's a thing I could do with my eyes closed. So this image was looking kind of flat and boring, and I was worried about it as I got through with the pencil stages, and I thought to myself, nah, start coloring and it'll look 10 times better, and it really does. As a lifelong Dragon Ball Z fan, it's been pretty gratifying to see Daima come out so strong and really popular. I'm someone whose taste in anime kind of stops around 2000, 2001. If it didn't air on Toonami, I'm not terribly interested in it. Toonami or Adult Swim here in America. But I'm glad to see, been seeing a lot of things saying that Dragon Ball is gone back to being the most popular anime in Japan or in the world, thanks to Dragon Ball Daima. And that's been really, really gratifying to see everybody get back into something I love so much. I'm not sure how many more of these I'll do. I know I wanted to do at least one more where I would draw Kid Piccolo and maybe do the same thing of kind of redesigning his costume a little bit. And then I want to take all these images and Photoshop them and put them all together. So if I go with Goku standing in the middle, then Vegeta's on his right side, and then Bulma here is perfectly positioned to be on Goku's left side. I might draw Piccolo and have him floating above, or maybe Kaioshin, since he's more of a main character at this point than Piccolo is. But I'm really enjoying kind of redesigning the redesigns for the main characters in the series. I may or may not go further with other characters. Don't have much of a desire to draw the newer characters either that have popped up, so we'll see what happens as the series goes along. I recently pulled my Dragon Ball encyclopedias, which are called the Daizenshu, out of storage, and those are chock-a-block full of really interesting character designs and images from the Dragon Ball series. So maybe maybe I'll get bored and draw pictures out of there and kind of do the same thing of figuring out how to put little twists on them to make them, since they're from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, make them look more like Dragon Ball Daima or Dragon Ball Super. Kind of mix and match and keep trying to make original images by remixing older Toriyama works. There's always kind of a interesting naming argument when it comes to Bulma's name. A lot of the names from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z are puns of English words, so the spelling can be different. Bulma's name, everyone in Bulma's family is named after some form of underwear, so her name is actually supposed to be Bloomers. Her father's name is Dr. Briefs, her son's name is Trunks, her daughter's name is Bra. So if you're keeping that naming convention in English, her name should be Bloomers or Bluma, not Bulma. But the first time Toriyama wrote, he had a habit of having Bulma wear her name on clothing and items, and he always kind of transposed the L and the U to make it Bulma. So in the American dub, they just went with Bulma, and that's been her name ever since. And again, as someone who grew up in the 90s, I can't not call her Bulma. Anytime I hear anyone call her Bluma or Bloomers, it doesn't infuriate me or anything, but it always kind of takes me out of the argument or whatever discussion we're having. It's kind of like the character's name is Krillin to me, not Kuririn or any variation thereof. But I always feel like Bulma must be an approved translation, since Toriyama himself wrote the name Bulma a bunch of times in the manga on, like I said, her clothings or weapons or what have you. This has been kind of fun drawing these characters with these giant heads. I'm not a big Sonic the Hedgehog fan. I know there was a famous Sonic comic in the 90s. Something about this tiny character with this giant head and this giant weapon makes me think of the Sonic comic books from the 90s, although I have no idea what that's about or why these characters would have giant weapons. Let me know if I'm completely out of my mind, or if that's something that kind of jumped out at you too. Well, here we are, guys, heading to the end of the video. These are the references and one final look at the final image. Thanks so much, guys. Like and subscribe, and remember to come on back. Thanks, guys. Bye.